Welcome everybody back to Norstead Point. This is session 12. In session 11, the session began with Balog and Maeve heading down the mountain to speak with the Great Avian, while Fergus and no one remained behind with Ashta. Perched atop the mountain in an upside-down tree with glassy leaves, the Great Avian questions Balog about his presence within the glacier, given the oath Balog had taken to eradicate the merfolk. During this questioning, Balog notes that she doesn't distinguish between the merfolk and the Pale Invaders. He admits that given their numbers, he likely cannot kill the population of Pale Invaders by himself, but the Great Avian is unbothered by this, noting that she never expected Balog to accomplish the task to begin with, and that this only means that Balog is sworn to her service until it is completed. The Great Avian expresses a keen interest in Fergus, and Balog tells her that he is an exile from his people who was discovered here in Norstead Point. Addressing Maeve, the Great Avian tells her that the merfolk have been cursing the village for quite some time, though she does not know why. She has been detecting something at the very edges of her senses, and after seeing the town swallowed by the giant clam, is certain they're up to something. Balog gathers enchanted pebbles from the ground at his feet, which the Great Avian claims will allow her to see what is occurring under the water. Balog notes this, and notes that it suggests there are certain things the Great Avian cannot see from her mountain. He makes a request. In exchange for placing the pebbles in various locations, the Great Avian will offer the tieflings a place to live here. She claims that everything above the surface is hers, but that Balog could claim territory underwater and she would create a refuge there for Balog's people. Looking to bargain with Maeve, the Great Avian asks her what she desires. Maeve requests protection from Fergus, and the Great Avian asks her to bring him, offering safe passage only during his travel to the mountain. From there, she would determine the best use for Fergus. Maeve realizes that the Great Avian's offer is hollow, as it is redundant with Balog's previous deal, but accepts anyway. Back within the glacier, Fergus and no one question Ashta about the state of the petrified city, but Ashta's people were fine when she was last repetrified. Given that such a spell requires skilled singing even for a single person, she claims that no one could possibly petrify a whole city. They collectively decide to bring Ashta down to the reef to identify the statues, but as they're doing so, discover that they are being stalked by hordes of Pale Invaders. No one attempts to question them, noticing they move in unison, but they are focused on their objective and hardly respond. Moving as one, the Pale Invaders dash after Fergus and Ashta in droves, emerging from the deep in urgent swarms. Blending in anonymously, no one decides to follow the Pale Invaders as they retreat to the depths. Following them into the inky shroud of the deep, they move a disorienting distance under the water, ultimately arriving at a series of strange structures erected in a room. Nearing the unusual obelisks, the majority of the Pale Invaders begin to blur and vanish from sight, and a pair of them continue to move ahead into the connecting rooms, paying no one no mind. Left alone, no one reaches out mentally to the stone tuning structures, and intuitively manifests elsewhere, arriving in the astral plane outside of a colossal structure. A titanic pyramid composed of the same black marble has been built around the astral body of an encased crab. Multiple clawed arms wave and twitch softly in the astral space, wafting a rich, thick miasma. The encased creature is unresponsive to communication. Returning to the material plane, no one explores the underwater location further, finding the cave system unfolds into an elaborate structure built of smooth white stone. Exploring the Pale Temple, no one notes several oddities. Blood runs along channels in the floor, not blending with the water. A wall of ice prohibits passage through a certain doorway in the temple. A towering blue valve can be found at the end of a major hallway. And within a ceremonial room, townsfolk are positioned about runes on the floor. A chair in the center of the room drains the seated of blood, gradually feeding the magical channels beneath. No one attempts to connect with the seated hunter, Percival, who appears to be in stasis. A cold, wet presence instead crushes itself into no one's mind, searching its thoughts, but finds only blurs without meaning. Unable to get a proper read, it realizes that no one is an anomaly. It informs no one that it willed the fate of the town above for the purposes of the Great Reclamation, the directive issued to the Pale Invaders, all while sifting through no one's mind with a cold, wet touch, noting a veil which makes no one difficult to connect to and locate. Ignoring no one's unusual line of questioning, and alerted by its inability to interpret no one's mind, the presence begins pushing harder into no one's consciousness, attempting to locate it. It is unable to do so, and the wound on no one's waist, which had been healed by the orange pulp, begins to throb. The multifaceted mind begins searching the Pale Invaders around it, probing with their senses to try and locate the imposter. Back at the surface, Fergus suddenly hears no one in his mind, warning of the danger and projecting what no one sees into his thoughts. Looking through no one's eyes, Fergus notices that there are two identical corpses on the floor belonging to one of the hunters, Jocelyn. No one is able to escape, and returning to the surface to regroup with the others, it projects psychic images and informs them of its findings. Balog suggests that the Pale Invaders are given a stone as a peace offering. Uncertain of the extent of clairvoyance, they grant the Great Avian. Ashta is shocked and considers the capture of the god Moakwali as heresy, and Fergus wonders about the crab's true nature, given that it was only ever kept asleep by the merfolk people. The session comes to a close as the group wonders about what would be powerful enough to take a god captive.
So much happened last sesh.
It was a very, very busy session. So, the lot of you are currently gathered around within the glacier. No one having just shown you a tremendous amount of information here. Old man Marcus is flabbergasted by everything he's hearing. In addition to no one's sort of casual interactions with everyone here. Cecily and Beatrice are stunned, as is old man Marcus, at the sight of no one. But at this point have been in an a prolonged state of shock, really for like several days now. So what's on everybody's minds?
Trying to figure out where to go with this information. Did no one tell Fergus everything that they experienced? Did they hold anything back?
No.
Okay. So he has all the information. All right. I'm trying to process all of it.
A thick silence hangs over the group as everybody takes in this new information.
No one speaking to old man Marcus is gonna be like, is this what you experienced on top of Norstead Point? Like asking if no one's kind or what's up there.
So you're, if no one's kind, are up at the top of Norstead?
Yeah.
Old man Marcus is going to, oh jeez, let's see. Okay. Old man Marcus is going to sort of stumble backwards. And he's going to say aloud, "This thing, it spoke to me just now. I seen the likes of ye before. Both of ye's." And he sort of points at no one And he points up at Ashta. And he says, "You was there with them, swimming about in the water." And I'll see if I can find it. But in Old Man Marcus's story, he actually does look over the edge of the boat. What the heck? And sees all of them swimming around. If I can find it, I'll throw it on screen. But anyways, stunned by this, he will sort of step back, and he sort of shakes his head in answer to your question. But I'm gonna need a second to figure out how he deals with the shock of seeing you here. He's more freaked out by no one than he is by Ashta. Because now that you're kind of pointing it out, he's making the association that the things he saw swimming around were actually these things. I would also remind you all, in Old Man Marcus's story, it was not singing he was hearing during the events that lifted the ship, but a horrendous shrieking sound.
So just to be sure, Old Man Marcus has confirmed to us that Norstead Point does have Pale Invaders.
No, it does. There were no Pale Invaders atop
Okay.
the ship. However, he does recognize, looking at you, that there were Pale Invaders in the water when the ship was lifted onto the peak.
Okay.
So there's a piece of this puzzle that's like not quite fitting, and it's that shrieking singing thing, because he recognizes no one ish. We know. Oh my god.
Our
trying to
kind
figure
doesn't
this
make
out.
sound.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what's not fitting. So what was making the noise? Unless it was like, I don't know. My mind goes to like Osh's people above water. But he didn't see Osh's people there. How long ago was this?
This would have been when Old Man Marcus was a young man, so probably like 50 years ago-ish.
Oh gosh. $50 ago.
So we know that Ashta's people were in some way involved with the crab. And that the crab now seems to not be lifeless, but like not really be awake anymore.
Yeah, it's in like a stasis of some sort.
Yeah, so if we assume that the event that happened like 50 years ago, that might have been, the screams of of the crab or something like that.
Oh my god, maybe.
Yeah.
Make me an insight check, y'all.
Okay.
both of us, or just no?
Or a history check. One or the other.
You said insider history?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, Fergus, you don't even need to make an insight check on this. There's no way that that could have happened 50 years ago because these people are your ancestors.
Oh.
These people? Ostrich
Yeah,
people?
Tritons evolved from merfolk. And
So there's no way that
you
the
guys
thing that
know
happened
this.
to Astra
Correct.
happened 50 years ago. It had to have happened way longer ago. Okay, so those are
Correct.
two separate events.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So what was significant about 50 years ago? Okay, changing direction a little bit. Fergus turns to no one and just says, "What is this great reclamation you mentioned? What do you know about that?"
We don't know. No one just has absolutely no idea.
Just has no. Okay.
Yeah.
Cecily
Okay,
sort of
okay.
speaks up and she says, "What could these things possibly have wanted with my daughter?" And she's sort of looking suspiciously at no one.
I mean, I showed the vision of the room full of blood. Of the body.
Oh
I
God.
don't know exactly what they were doing with those bodies, but
How old were the bodies in the room?
I mean, those were the people that got kidnapped. That
Oh, right,
went down
right.
with the town.
So varying ages.
Yeah. Except for that one clone that we saw. That was very odd.
What if? I think I'm just kind of casting a wide net here, but what if it has to do with like lineage? Why Beatrice was chosen?
Mm. Yeah.
Beatrice hasn't really showed any particular uniqueness, has she?
No, not really. In fact, it seems random. And for that matter, uh, it seemed random when the previous families were targeted too. Or rather than say the previous families, it was just like a person in those households.
But they and the families wound up going missing, right?
Correct, overnight.
Overnight. And when Beatrice, like when this curse thing was at its peak, she started floating and singing, and a marrow started crawling out of the water barrel.
Correct.
But then how did it go away again? Did it see someone and then?
Y'all used the acorn. Or the sphere
Okay.
that was gifted to Balog by the bird god.
Mm-hmm. And it just abruptly ended as it was coming through the water, which ended up cutting it in half.
When when did that family disappear? Was that also 50 years ago?
Since Old Man Marcus Two other families had disappeared, like since the events of Norstead Point. There was a family that was like two houses over, and then one I think that was like the third house over.
Right.
And
but
they
what's
happened sequentially. So like
sequentially?
yeah, we'll say roughly like 20 years apart.
So it's not like it's reoccurring on the same date every certain number of years.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Old man Marcus is eyeing the party suspiciously. This very inhuman party.
Does Beatrice have any memories from when she was going through her fever and her floating stage?
Let's see. She shakes her head, and she says, I remember I was dreaming a lot, but I can't remember what I was dreaming about.
Her symptoms were that she was sweating so much that it was sinking or soaking through the mattress and onto the floor.
Correct.
And it was salt water smelling, is that correct?
Correct. You guys confirmed this to be salt water.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like profusely sweating salt water.
So I think it seemed like she was undergoing some sort of transformation. Because then she started singing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she hadn't had any water intake, so that water she was sweating wasn't like, obviously wasn't natural, but she wasn't able to eat or drink anything during that time, right?
Oh.
You guys actually were giving her water, but she wasn't drinking nearly as much as she was seemingly producing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then at the peak of it, she began floating up off the bed and began singing a song which conjured a marrow.
Which conjured a marrow.
What was Old Man Marcus's story again? Can we
Sure.
run through that again?
So Old Man Marcus's story is that they were basically like on their boat, sort of coming around. They got pushed onto like near the rocks by the storm. And then all of a sudden the sea sort of sucks them really low, like pulls downwards, right? And they hear this horrible shrieking, like this multiple like shrieking sound, and they see things swimming in the water. And then the ship is launched upward by this like tremendous wave, which rises all the way up and places the boat like exactly on Norstead Point. After a while, everyone who's starting to starve starts to go crazy. One dude jumps off. Everybody sees that guy just immediately dies, so they're like, holy shit, we can't go down. And then some of the sailors started getting very feverish. They began sweating profusely. And Marcus says right at the end of it, some of them started floating in the air with eyes as white as pearls, and they began singing. And he got freaked out, said, "Fuck this, it doesn't matter if I die," and jumps off. And survives. Well, not that he says it doesn't matter if I die, but it's like it's better not to get involved with like these hellish things, right? So he's like, fuck it, we're taking a chance, and miraculously survives, but breaks both of his legs in the process. Landing in the water, not not on the rocks. So there are certainly parallels with Beatrice's story. And no one actually happened with the other families other than that, you know, somebody would get very sick, but everybody else was fine. But then one day the whole family would just be gone.
So we don't know yet what happens when this peak of their sickness is over, because old man Marcus jumped off of the ship before he could see what happened, and we saved Beatrice before it took her.
That's correct.
But we did see a marrow almost claw its way out of a barrel, so.
And it seemed hostile towards us, right?
Well, y'all really didn't get a chance to see what it was trying to do. Because as it was coming out of the barrel, y'all were like, holy shit, we gotta stop this immediately.
Okay.
So the necklace also summons marrows, but without the singing. Just will it to appear.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should ask a marrow.
It doesn't understand, it only understands what I want, right? It doesn't understand a language, or at least common.
It does
common.
speak a language. It was just not one you understood.
But now we have the ability to speak and understand any language with the things that we
Correct.
found in that city.
Okay, yeah. So should we conjure one?
Maybe we should ask a marrow, because like we kind of jumped the gun on the last one that we ran into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's our best lead right now.
All right, yeah. Let's summon one. Okay, so I will summon a marrow. Yep. Just will one to appear.
Okay. So, what's going to happen is, as you use this necklace, let me see. I'm just gonna say there's like some old buckets somewhere.
Wait, do you think Cecily and Beatrice would want to be here for this? Do you think it might freak them out a bit?
Perhaps we should ask them.
Maybe.
Summon one.
Yeah, okay. Wait, that's their house, right? That we're staring next to? That's okay. Okay, so we could have Baylog go inside with them just so they are not completely alone.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll turn. Yeah, okay.
So they go enter the house. Baylog holds an axe. Actually, no. He's seen me do this before, so he knows exactly what's going on here. He's not worried about it. Okay. Old man Marcos. Old man Marcus.
I kind of want him to stay, just in case if he recognizes it, or if it jogs any kind of memories.
Mm,
Okay, okay.
Fergus will hand over the talking mechanisms to Maeve. You're usually the smoother talker of the two of us.
Okay. Yep. And I would like to. Is he trying to?
He's
Is he trying
watching.
to? Oh, he's just watching from the corner. Okay. Alright. Think we're ready. We ready? We're good?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ready, ready.
Alright, summoning a marrow.
Okay. So, you guys watch as Maeve sort of focuses on this necklace that she has. And y'all notice as Ashta's, again, sort of very impressed by this. And what's going to occur here is first, small droplets are going to begin forming on the ground. And they sort of begin just seeping up from the stone, seemingly, as they're sort of conjured until a small, like, puddle of water is available. And from that surface rises a marrow. Marrow. And the marrow sort of stiffly straightens up and sort of turns to Maeve and says, "As you bid." And it sort of kneels down.
No one saw a lot of different creatures down there. Were there any marrows?
No, there were no marrows.
No. Okay.
How is old man Marcus reacting to this?
Fergus, actually, you know what? All of y'all can roll me insight or history. Ooh. Maeve. Wait, what the heck?
That was note one.
Oh, your
Why do
buttons.
all of
I
my
forgot
characters
about
have? Yeah.
that. You need to replace the logic on that. I can help you with that later.
Okay.
Okay. What'd you roll on that? What's your wisdom modifier? You rolled a 19, which is pretty good. Actually, you all rolled pretty decently. Okay, so here's what you know. You guys did see depictions of marrow in the art, and have essentially determined that the marrow were like a servant class. But like, that's as far as you could tell looking at just like the various mosaics and depictions of marrow. But you did not encounter any actual live marrow. So this thing sort of forms of water, stands upright facing Maeve, and then like very flatly says like, "As you bid," and then kneels before Maeve.
And how is old man Marcus reacting to this?
Roll me an insight check.
Okay.
As you cut a glance over at old man Marcus. Alright, so old man Marcus is peering with just the edges of his face available. Very clearly hiding from this, but you can see two large white eyes popping out above a graying beard. He seems to be both astounded and terrified of this.
Okay.
The marrow is completely motionless. Baylog watches through the window. Cecily and Beatrice are sort of anxiously watching as well.
They're watching this happen?
Yeah, they're like kind of peeking from behind Baylog, and they're all watching you through the window.
And how do they look?
Baylog's seen this before. He's seen you summon the marrow.
Well, Cecily and Beatrice.
So maybe like turn around and look through the window. They're very intrigued. I mean, they've seen you just do something impossible.
Okay. I ask the marrow and kind of motion my head to the window and say, "Do you recognize that girl?"
The marrow turns its head, looks at Beatrice, and sort of shakes its head and says, "I do not know this one."
She was sick, and I say she was sick not too long ago. And when it got at its worst, she began floating and singing, and one of your kind began crawling out of a barrel full of water. What do you know about that?
Of this, I know nothing.
Okay.
You notice that when this thing isn't speaking, it is completely motionless.
Right. I look at Fergus and no one and just shake my head like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't know anything.
No one's going to say, can you ask it if it knows anything about the illness?
I turn back to the marrow and say, "Do you know anything about this illness?"
Of this illness, I know nothing, Master.
And then,
Doesn't know who would know.
do you know who would know?
I do not.
Fergus scowls.
Okay.
It stares blankly ahead, awaiting your next command.
Do we have any other questions? We're not really getting any headway with this.
Can you command it to get answers? I don't know. I'm just like, I don't, if asking it questions isn't yielding results, it doesn't know anything. Maybe you can say like, well then go find out.
Okay,
And
yeah.
maybe it'll do, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it's worth a shot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Okay, so I turn back to the marrow and I say, if you don't know the answers, go find out who does know them, or go find them yourself, please. Please. Okay.
The marrow states, "As you bid," and it is going to move over here to this corner and sit still while it ruminates.
Okay. All right. All right, I turn to Ashta and ask, like, what do you think about this, all this?
Ashta, who has observed all this. That's right, I forgot you could speak with Ashta. So Ashta is going to tell you, like, just for your understanding, the marrow do not know things. They are simply manipulations of water.
Oh.
The two of you look over at the marrow, who is sort of processing over there. As y'all have brought another, like, unit into existence, is going to learn how to navigate this world and go find the answers you seek.
We can just leave that running in the background.
Yeah.
Let it load.
Just create
Loading.
a new NPC.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Did
well,
did Ashta know anything about the illness, or why Beatrice would have been singing? And she was able to summon a marrow, which is the same thing that the necklace does, essentially.
So,
And if they were, yep.
I realized something earlier, and I'm just going to point this out for the sake of brevity. Ashta didn't understand anything that was said because Ashta is not using the equipment. And it occurred to me that you guys were passing around the brooch and the pin so that each of you could, like, take turns speaking with Ashta. But if you give it to Ashta, she'll be able to speak and understand everybody.
oh my god.
Oh, okay.
That's brilliant.
Okay, so,
So, assumably
oh.
you fill her in, right? For the
Yeah,
sake
and
of
then, yeah, fill her in, and then I'll say, you know what, here, just you take this. It'll make it easier, and I hand her the item.
Okay, so everyone can now communicate with Ashta. Okay. So, the question was, what does Ashta think about the situation and these illnesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to tell you, she's going to say, well, the summoning of marrow by song is certainly one of the skills of our people. And she says, however, I don't know who could possibly be doing that. Not if our people are all gone. Perhaps some survivor?
Survivor.
Someone who
If you're
knows our songs?
Let's say one of them did survive. Who would be capable of this? Who do you remember would be capable of this?
Well, the only ones who were able to sing others into stone were the most skilled songstresses of our people. So, I don't know. Whoever is singing Marrow into being somehow know our song to do so.
And they know that Marrow are servant class.
And she nods, but she's how do I explain? It's not so much that they're a servant class, but they are more like a tool. They don't they only come into being when they're conjured, and they cease to exist when they're put away.
Oh.
Whoever's conjuring them, why are they targeting innocents to do this, though?
And she shakes her head and she says, I don't know. I can't imagine why.
And they're doing this.
She can't tell you. Marrow are conjured to perform a task. And she says, if the spell that is being sung is a spell to conjure a Marrow, it's for some sort of purpose.
They're doing this through other people without the use of items such as this, and she motions to the necklace.
And Ashta nods and she says, yes, artifacts such as these help to ease the singing process and concentrate the magic. Roll me an insight check, Maeve, and Fergus, and no one. Ooh, that's really good. What's your wisdom modifier? David?
Yeah, let me check that.
So whoever's doing this
0.
then...
So that's actually an 8.
An 8, okay. What was that, Maeve?
Just thinking out loud that whoever's doing this has to be very powerful to conjure marrows without the use of any tools, and to do it basically remotely through someone else.
That is very keen, Maeve. That's a good observation. Looking at your feet, at the puddle of water that has been conjured here, this small, concentrated puddle of water from which the Marrow arose, with that 25, Maeve, it occurs to you that the curse that Old Man Marcus and Beatrice both described involved profuse sweating, which was producing a source of water. And there ended up being a more concentrated source of water in the Clifton house in the form of their water barrel. So the Marrow arose from that instead. So, based on what Ashta is telling you, and the parallels between your summoning spell using the device and descriptions of the sickness, the spells are essentially doing the exact same thing. They conjure a source of water with which to summon a Marrow.
I turn to Ashta and ask, where did these artifacts come from?
And she says, well, there were many artifacts like these, and she sort of gestures to them. And she says,
Do you know where they go?
Well, she just says, the artisans of our people would sing it into these objects. But she says, but how they did that is not something I know. It's just not something I was trained in. So like she knows of it, right? And chances are there's evidence of it down there in the city somewhere. But like that's just not part of her training. She's like a priestess.
Do you know where we could maybe find out more about where these artifacts came from or who created them?
She says, well, we could probably check the archives of our city, if they're still there. Or maybe the districts where they would work.
I look at Fergus and no one and like, what do y'all think?
I mean, we need answers. That seems like a good place to start looking.
Yes.
It's a very good place to start looking. However, the last time you guys tried to get into the water, you found that there were far more of the Pale Invaders in the vicinity. And they swarmed over you pretty quickly.
And they might be a little bit upset right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, might not be a good time to go into the water.
Well, then perhaps we should go up. We should go to Norstead Point proper.
Yeah.
Investigate where all that
Find some clues
mysterious
right from
stuff
the source.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, Maeve, you made the point that it must be some powerful magic that can work from a remote location.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's that sleeping entity and it's trying to wake up? That's a powerful entity. Who knows what it would be capable of?
True. True.
Yeah, we need more clues. We need more answers.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Should we see if old man Marcus wants to lend us his boat?
Yeah.
So, looking back at old man Marcus, who's just sort of watching this whole thing, you all, I guess everyone just turns and looks at him, right? He's going to just sort of speaking up from behind this corner. He says, well, go on then, take it. I ain't venturing out there anytime soon.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Alright.
I think... How many climbing kits do we have? I think we had 3, and we needed one more with Baylog.
Correct.
So then-
However, if you guys are going to have Baylog remain here, he's not going to need a climbing kit.
Right. So we should have enough climbing kits for everybody.
Correct.
Hey.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
We're
is that
ready.
what y'all want to do?
Let's go.
Well, let's do it.
All right. So together, you guys make your way to Norstead Point, which towers high up in the air. So, from the base of the point here, and by the way, as you guys are traversing Fergus, you had stocked up on rope like a few sessions back, right? When y'all were first thinking about doing this?
Yeah. With
Okay.
Gladys, I think.
Agnes.
Maybe was Agnes. Thank
Agnes.
you.
Yes.
Close.
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay. So, from the base of these stones, looking up, it is a claustrophobically high climb. There is going to be quite an athletic distance that you guys are going to need to cover. So give me one quick second. Okay, so Maeve, Fergus, and No One. The three of you are about to begin your ascent up this massive peak using the climbing equipment that Fergus had built based on Agnes's design. As you are ascending, you guys are going to... You're all essentially tied to one another. And the three of you are going to make your way several hundred feet up the ascent when suddenly you are met with a crumbling ledge. Now, this is going to be an acrobatics check. Who would like to make that check?
I am very good at acrobatics. I can try that.
I was gonna say me too, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Fergus.
Okay, so Fergus is going to make the acrobatics check. So Maeve and No One, if you can think of a way to use one of your skills to assist Fergus, and you can like kind of open-endedly state how you would do that in a scenario like this, you can basically make a check, a DC 12 check, and if you get higher than 12, we add your bonus to Fergus's roll. So Fergus, essentially what's happening here is you are climbing up this ledge, and you're sort of leading the others up a difficult ledge. When you grab a handhold, and as you're putting your weight on it, it suddenly gives. Mm-hmm. Your weight is sort of jarred, and you're going to need to sort of swiftly grab another handhold as you suddenly begin sliding down the side of the cliff face. Maeve and No One, would y'all like to do anything to help Fergus as he quickly scrambles for another hand or foothold?
I would like to make an investigation check and find something for Fergus to grab onto.
Ooh, good use. Okay, roll an investigation check.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, so no luck. You're not able to see anything.
Fuck!
The terrain is quite crumbly. What about you, No One? Do you have anything up your sleeve?
Not really. I will... Can I roll insight to try and, like, instruct Fergus? Be like, no, grab that one.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh, wait, what's your... You said it's a 0? Okay, a 14's good.
Yeah.
So, Maeve, you're not able to see a spot anywhere, but No One, you are. And communicating this to Fergus, Fergus, you see where No One's pointing out to. Go ahead and make your acrobatics roll.
And this is, did you say this is at advantage? Or with a certain
yes,
bonus?
this is at advantage because one of your allies succeeded.
Got it.
Sorry.
Ooh.
18 plus 7.
Okay, well done. So you guys succeed on the first tier. Now, as you continue to make your way up, you are going to come to a point in the stone where one of you is going to have to jump upwards across a gap. It's going to be an athletics check.
Looking over at Fergus again.
Oh, okay. Fergus is decent with athletics, but he doesn't want to do every. Like, I don't want to.
I don't have any. I don't have
Okay.
any advantage on athletics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fergus
I will,
might just have to take the lead on this height. You
I
might
will-
be the only one.
I will take the lead on this one.
Okay.
All
You
right.
did climb up a cliff
I
already.
did.
Injured at that.
That's right.
True.
Okay.
I
all
appreciate
right.
this inspiration you're giving me, Maeve.
You got this, buddy.
So, no one and Maeve. Would y'all like to assist? And Maeve, even if you don't have like any spells yet, because we're gonna set something up for that. If you do have inspiration, you are welcome to apply that. As this is like a perfect opportunity, this skill challenge here, to do so.
I haven't set up my inspiration stuff yet.
Okay, no sweat. No sweat, no sweat. Okay, so Maeve and no one, how do y'all think y'all can help Fergus jump across this gap? It's one of those really tricky upward ones.
Fergus is kind of shaking out each arm a little bit in preparation for the jump.
Oh, and by the way, if you succeed on a skill, such as no one did last round, you can't use that exact same skill the next one.
If you succeed.
There's a 1 round cooldown. Yeah, if you succeed.
Okay, I can help with acrobatics and maybe just be like, okay, if you jump at this angle and kick off, or kick off with this or something, then you could probably grab with these, grab that rock or something.
Right, that's perfect. I don't. That's
Okay,
perfect.
do you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes. Go ahead and make your acrobatics roll.
Okay. Where to go? Hold on. Acrobatics.
Ooh, nicely done. Okay, so there's your advantage, Fergus. No
All right.
one. Are you able to help in any kind of way?
No, I'm just gonna watch this one.
Okay. All right, Fergus, go ahead and make that athletics check with advantage.
Maeve, you can kind of feel a little bit of tension coming off of Fergus because you know he does not like being told what to do, and you're telling him what to do, but he's like, pick your battles. Okay. 23.
All right, well done. So Fergus, you are able to use that frustration to fuel you a little bit, and you kick off hard, and you are able to succeed through the next one, and sort of set the way for the others to follow up behind you. So well done, you guys passed the second tier.
When we catch up to Fergus, see, if you just listen to me, you'll do it. You'll do it just fine.
Shut up.
Okay.
He's just like out of breath. Doesn't have the breath to argue right now.
All right, so moving up, as you're sort of making your way, you guys are sort of nearing the lower half of the spire. You are going to come to a point where lots of seabirds have sort of just been pooping on the rocks kind of along your path. and it's slick. So y'all need to make either a dexterity save or a sleight of hand.
I think I might be good at both of those. Let me check. Let me see. Dexterity or sleight of hand?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Okay, I am proficient in sleight of hand. Let me see. Okay, I can do this one.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Maeve, as you take the lead, you sort of look up at the slick rocks above. It isn't pretty, but it is dangerous. Fergus and no one, are y'all able to offer Maeve any assistance?
Slick rocks ahead. What can they do? What was the last check that succeeded? Because you said we can't repeat that one.
Oh, that character can't repeat that one.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay. I'm just thinking.
I was thinking, oh, can I use Phantasmal Force here? But that would only be a detriment.
I mean, if you can come up with something clever, like maybe.
No, yeah.
Okay. Fergus is going to. Oh gosh.
I want to point out there is no consequence for failing an assist roll.
Right. I'm just trying to think of the best way to help her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Fergus will crawl up like right behind her, and let her use his shoulder as like a very sturdy thing to push off of to like give her a little bit more of a boost to be able to get that first good hold in on that slick surface. That's what he will do.
Okay, go ahead and make your roll.
Yeah, what am I? Is that athletics? Maybe.
So,
Arcon?
you know what? I'll let you pick. What do you think it should be, Ray?
I think this is going to be a feat of strength, of just being able to hold on strong enough for her to put all her weight onto that shoulder and use it as a force. So I think I'll go athletics. Here we go. Oh, 16.
Okay, so that's going to give you advantage, Maeve. No one, you want to try anything?
We'll continue to just watch this happen. Are you there?
Yeah. I didn't hear you say anything, though.
Oh, sorry. No one will wait. No one will watch.
Okay, no problem. All right, Maeve, go ahead and make your sleight of hand at advantage, or your
Or
dex
dex.
save, whichever you prefer.
Dex save?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Alright, Maeve, so you are able to very carefully pick your way through as you lead the party up through the next tier. Okay, so you guys are at 3 of 7 tiers. When suddenly there is a massive blast of wind. This one is going to require a grapple check. Who would like to
shit.
make that?
Grapple uses what? What would that?
Strength probably, right?
Yes, grappling is an athletics check.
Let's see. I mean, I can try again.
Yeah, I don't have. I don't have any proficiency or anything for athletics.
As this is happening, Vargas just says, "I miss Baylog," and that's it.
So, no one, this would actually be something you are very good at. I realize I still haven't gotten you your racials, but this is
Okay.
actually one you'd be decent at.
Okay.
You have expertise in athletics for the sake of grappling,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
because you're a squid man.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Well, then, all right. Let's do that then. Then no one will, hold the tentacles around the rocks to try and keep from getting blown off like a kite.
Yep. So here's what happens. One of the party members is going to essentially fall. And as one of it, and you guys can choose Maeve or Fergus, which one of you it is. But as you fall, no one's lower half is going to sort of snatch you out of the air. And the two of y'all will sort of dangle against the rock face here. So whoever wants to be saved by no one, that is your call.
Maeve, you wanna do a dex save to see who falls?
I like that idea.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let me see.
Oh no.
Dex. Hold on. Alright.
Oh. Fergus falls.
Dang, okay, so Fergus, you're going to drop and no one snatches you out of the air. Now, Fergus and Maeve, in the situation where Fergus is dropping and no one grabs him, is there any way y'all want to help no one with its check?
With a grapple or a strength check?
Mm-hmm. How do you want to help it catch Fergus?
Could a sleight of hand help? Maybe? Well, I'm sorry, can y'all hear that? I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you can describe how a sleight of hand might help, what do you envision?
Good lord. Sorry. Maybe an acrobatics. Just cut, to be able to, I guess, follow Fergus through be able to keep up with Fergus and eventually catch him, no matter how the wind is blowing him in whatever direction. If that makes sense?
Okay. Okay, so you're going to use acrobatics to instruct?
Yes.
Okay, and
Okay.
go ahead and make your roll. And Fergus, anything you want to do to help no one snatch you? No one's got advantage.
He's He's got advantage. I think he's a little shocked from the fall. I think he doesn't have an action at this right now.
Okay. All right. No one, go ahead and make an athletics check, which you now have expertise in at advantage.
Expertise gives me what?
Double proficiency bonus.
Oh,
So +4
Oh
currently.
no.
okay.
Oh my god. Jeez.
Roll that, and let's roll it again.
Ooh.
Come on, no one.
Okay.
Oh.
So with this, Maeve, no one snatches Fergus off the cliff wall, but in doing so, they are going to slide down, and that's going to jerk the rope, and the party all sort of free falls down the cliff face before a couple of you manage to grab a handhold and catch yourselves. However, you are now below the slippery vertical again. And since you used sleight of hand last time, one of you will need to make a dexterity save to navigate through it this time.
I'm pretty good at dex saves.
Yeah.
You want to go for it?
I can certainly try.
Oh, also, now that you guys have attempted 4 tiers, can everyone make me a con save?
Ooh.
Oh lordy.
As this climb is beginning to take its toll.
Con. That's what I got. Okay. Ooh.
Okay. So Maeve, you're good to go. But Fergus and no one, all of your checks now have a -2. So it just got a little bit harder. This now means that the second person who helps will negate that exhaustion.
Yeah.
Okay. So Fergus, you're gonna navigate your way through. Maeve and no one, how do y'all want to help?
This is the bird poop.
This is the bird poop.
Okay.
Slippery climb, basically.
Bird shit.
Okay, you know what? No one will use Phantasmal Force this time, so I am going to cast Phantasmal Force just to highlight where all of the bird poop is on the slope, so it's like glowing now.
Okay, so Fergus, you can now sort of see exactly where, because Phantasmal Force, I believe, just affects a single target, but Fergus, in your eyes, it's all highlighted for you.
Okay.
And on the other end of that, I would like to use investigation to highlight any good points that would be good for grabbing or stepping on.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll.
Investigation.
And no one, go ahead and let me see. Just roll me a spell attack. And that would just be a d20 plus charisma plus your proficiency, which is 2. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Okay. So you have a +2, and you have advantage on this dexterity save, Fergus. Or rather,
Alright.
your negative is negated.
Right. Here we go. First one is a 12, and the second one is a 9.
All right,
Come on,
guys.
Fergus.
So y'all are going to slide down another tier.
Wait.
Oh
Wait.
my god.
Wait. My mod is wrong.
Oh.
My mod is wrong. Okay, so It's 1d20 plus 6, but this is a save, so it should be plus 7, so that makes it a 13. Does that help at all?
Unfortunately not. This time you guys
Darn
are
it.
going to drop down to the jump. So someone will need to jump across this chasm.
Oh boy, oh boy.
That would be a dex or acrobatics check.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that one. Let me see.
Or I'm
do
sorry,
it.
this
No?
one's an athletics check for the jump.
Oh, then I am not good at that one.
That's gonna... Oh, athletics. Oh no, that was the grapple thing. Yeah, Fergus can go for it again. I think he's got the biggest bonus for that.
All right, you got it.
Come on, Fergus.
All right, so Maeve, you used investigation last time. No one, you cast a spell. Fergus, you have a -2 to this athletics. So as Fergus prepares to jump the gap again for everybody, Maeve and no one.
I will say words of encouragement, like directly into their mind.
All right, go ahead and roll me persuasion. Okay, we'll take your roll. That's fine. You rolled 16. Yeah. Okay, so Fergus, you have advantage.
Okay.
Can... Let's see. Can I add survival just to not die?
Not die. Sure. So survival's essentially your survival knowledge. You can help ensure Fergus finds solid footing or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
Roll it. Okay. Oh.
Okay, alright, so Fergus, your -2 is negated, so you just have a flat advantage.
Thank goodness. Oh god. 12.
Okay, Fergus. You jump up, but don't quite make it, and as you fall, you guys are going to drop another tier. You are back to the first tier.
My god. Okay.
Like the first tier or is the ground?
The first tier.
Okay.
Which technically actually is the ground, so you guys are pretty much back at ground level.
Wow.
So you've made it about halfway up, and then got 3 failures in a row. Do y'all want to take a rest and restart?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually... Yes.
Okay, alright. So...
Maeve's gonna groan, fuck!
So at the base, you guys all take a short rest and do a quick recoup. Okay, so you all begin again. After taking a short rest, refreshing, you no longer have your fatigue debuffs. So those of you who had -2, that no longer applies. And we are going to go ahead and begin our ascent again. So the first challenge you're going to face is that you will need to move lightly to avoid rock falls. This is going to be a performance or a stealth check.
I'm good with stealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take the lead on this one then?
Is
Yeah, I'll take
performance charisma?
Yes, performance is charisma.
I might be very good at this.
Okay.
Why don't we use that one just in case stealth will be needed next then?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so Maeve and Fergus, how would y'all like to help No One as No One attempts to navigate this dangerous rock face?
You said it was falling rocks?
Yes, so there are dangerous falling rocks that could fall overhead if disturbed, so No One must tread lightly to avoid potentially disturbing them.
Okay. I could use acrobatics for light, graceful footing. Just giving No One tips on to how to just be light on their feet and
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll
yep.
it.
Okay. Acrobatics.
Okay, there's your advantage, No One. Fergus?
Fergus will he will ready himself. He will ready an action for if No One falls. Ready to act.
Make
Is that okay?
me a dexterity save.
11. Well, it's going to be 12, actually, because my number's not
It's
correct.
going to be 12? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, No One, go ahead and make your performance check at advantage. Okay, perfect. So, Maeve advises No One on which way to go, and you guys watch as No One sort of flattens itself to an exceedingly thin sort of layer, and spreading its tentacles wide sort of slithers across the side of the surface like a thin sheet. And as this occurs, at one point, one of these rocks does indeed fall, threatening to crush No One. But Fergus, you are ready and you're able to sort of jerk No One back just in time to pull it out of danger. And the three of you are able to proceed to the next tier. Now the group of you all come across what appears to be an unstable natural bridge. This is going to be nature or acrobatics.
I'm good with acrobatics. Nothing with nature.
Yeah, I'll support you on this one, Maeve.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will take this one then.
Okay.
Wait, can I? Okay, yeah. That was only for saves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I will take it.
Okay, so you have to move across terrain that could collapse out from under you. No One and Fergus, how would y'all like to help?
Let's see.
Can I like inspect and investigate the bridge before Maeve starts walking across it?
Yeah.
Just-
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Okay.
Good call.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
No sweat. Nothing you're able to glean there. Fergus?
Let's see here. Gosh. Oh, this is tough. What can I do? What can I do? How can I help? A bridge. A weird bridge.
Yep, collapsible footing, essentially.
All right. Can I do like similar to what no one did, kind of inspect the bridge, but looking for the most brittle rocks. Doing a nature check to try and see which ones are more likely to fall, which ones are more likely to stay steady.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Maeve, we're going to go ahead and say you have access to your bardic inspirations because this is a particularly useful time to apply those. And I'll sort of look up in the background how many of those you have based on the 2024 rule set.
Okay. Do you need the book?
Actually, I'll just check roll 20. I think it has it in there.
Okay.
Okay, so no luck there, Fergus. So Maeve, it looks like it's going to be just a flat acrobatics check.
Oh.
Let's see how you do.
Alrighty.
Okay, so you are actually going to succeed that, and the group of you are going to proceed to the next tier as Maeve prepares the way for all of you.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Maeve.
Now, reaching the next phase of the ascent, you are going to have to spot and hold against potential falling hazards. This is going to be a perception or a grapple check.
I have expertise in perception. I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
Let's do that. I do not trust. I'm gonna grapple.
Fergus?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. That is
All right.
not Fergus's forte. You know he's not very observant.
Okay, so how do y'all want to help Maeve try and spot potential hazards as she surveys the path ahead?
Okay. Fergus will just yell out, "You take left, I'll take right." And that tells her, you watch for things on the left, I'll watch your right side. So he will shout out things that are coming up on her right side so she can focus solely on one side of her.
Okay, and which skill do you want to use for this?
I want to use... Oh, is it the choice between the two that you mentioned before?
No, you
Okay.
have the freedom to decide what you want to use and what the flavor of that is.
Gosh.
So are you are you encouraging her, or I guess you're forewarning her?
Yeah, I guess I'm
you using-
analyzing and forewarning. So that, honestly, if I'm being honest, it sounds like perception.
Perception? Okay, go ahead and roll a
Yeah, less
perception
so
check.
than my other. Yeah. Come on, Fergus.
Okay. No
Second
one.
three in a row.
No one is just going to send moral support. Just like euphoria. Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me either a charisma save or a persuasion check.
Let's do charisma. Oh my god.
Actually, that's fine. 12 is what you have to meet for these, for
Okay.
assist checks. So, yeah, you're good to go there. So, Maeve, you've got advantage on your perception check.
Sweet.
Holy cow. Okay. All right, guys. You are back at the fourth. You are halfway through. So, now, through the climb ahead, there are two options. There is a quick but potentially dangerous path, which may involve falling rocks, or I'm sorry, collapsing like handholds and footholds. Or there is a long, hard stretch. This is going to be a Constitution save or a Dexterity save. Who wants to take this on?
I'm best. I'm best with Dex. Have a good Dex save mod.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, in that case, you are taking dangerous territory. So how do y'all want to help?
What exactly is the hazard?
So in her case, she is climbing up terrain which may be loose.
Climbing up terrain which may be loose.
Yes, so looking at it, you can
Faulty.
tell some of it looks like it's might be ready to crumble. Some of it doesn't. Some of it looks okay. You could potentially like try and pick out the pieces. But yeah, essentially the terrain looks hazardous and unreliable. But it offers a faster, more direct path.
Okay. Before they start climbing, no one is just going to try and get like the lay of the climb that needs to happen, and so that they can instruct.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it up.
What am I rolling?
You're trying to get the lay of it.
Yeah.
So I would say you could potentially do nature, investigation.
Okay. Well.
Okay. All right. No luck there. Fergus.
Yeah. I'm looking at absolutely everything that I have here.
If you guys have anything clever, like some items or anything like that you want to make use
That's
of.
exactly what I'm looking at. Okay. So Maeve is here. She's about to climb directly up. Is that correct? Just under like. Oh, no, that won't work. No. Okay.
I mean, it's pretty fairly open theater of the mind. What do you have in mind?
Well, my only thing that I can think of is to use a piton, however you want to say it, and drive two of them beneath Maeve and then hook my net onto it to act as like a falling, something to catch her if she's falling. So if we do fail, we don't get knocked all the way back down because it'll catch her.
Yeah.
And I can use my sleight of hand to make that into being, to make it happen.
Okay. So Fergus, roll me then a higher DC sleight of hand check to cushion you guys against consequences into the next round.
Okay. Ooh. 19.
That'll do it. Okay.
Yes.
So Maeve, you don't have an advantage. However, if you fail, you guys can avoid consequences for this round.
Okay. And
So this is
that's
going to be a flat dexterity save.
like Dex save. Okay.
Oof.
What the hell?
A natural 1. Good
Oh my
placement.
god!
That would have been a lot worse, but Fergus specifically patted you against a calamity such as this. So then you are once again faced with a Constitution save or a Dexterity save, and this time Maeve cannot do the Dex save.
Fergus will take his turn.
Okay.
If that's okay with no one.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just gonna leave the net there.
I will say, unless someone else has an idea, that's only going to pad you guys against the round this one time.
Oh, okay.
So y'all can try and do something else. Open to freeform suggestions like that.
Okay.
So no one in Maeve. Fergus has to navigate treacherous ground.
Yeah.
I can use investigation to find the rocks that are more likely to crumble, like the steps that are more likely to give way.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it. Okay. Fergus, you have advantage on your dexterity save.
Okay, here we go.
No one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maeve, you have a number of bardic inspiration equal to your charisma modifier, and they recharge on a long rest. And they will add a d6 to the person's save or skill check, and you can't use it on yourself. So it's like perfect for this climb right now.
Okay. 1d6 for a 1d6 plus my charisma modifier?
A 1d6 for times however many charisma modifier you have. So if it's like a +2, then you have 2.
It's just a 1. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna give a thumbs up.
Hey, I'll take it at this point.
Yeah, good luck.
All right.
So it's just a 1d6. Yeah?
A d6, yeah. So you just have
Just
a d6 that you can give to somebody.
A d6, okay.
That feels underwhelming. We'll do d6 plus 1, so we'll give you a base of 2. So there you go. You have 2 bardic inspiration per long rest to use as you see fit, that you can help others
Alright.
with.
There, I just used 1.
Awesome.
You used 1 on Fergus?
Yes.
Okay. So Fergus, you have advantage and you have a d6, which you don't have to use yet.
I think for this particular inspiration, it's not gonna be so much encouraging. Like, you can do this, just more like taunting. Just because, like, oh my gosh, can you even do this? Like, oh my, you're such a little guppy. Can you even do that, Fergus? Kind of. Because she knows how to push his buttons, and she knows that if she pushes them hard enough, he can do it.
I'll do better than you did. And he's gonna try. He's gonna go. That's a big bonus you just gave him. So let's see. Oh my god. So 8
Hell
plus.
yeah.
That's a dirty 20 that I got.
Okay, yes, that is plenty. And the group of you proceed ahead. Now that you have succeeded on 4 tiers, or you have attempted 4 tiers rather, everybody roll me a con save as the fatigue begins to set in.
No.
Fergus, no penalty.
Oh. Whew.
Maeve, no penalty. Coast, no penalty. Nicely done, everybody.
All right.
Okay. Strong start, y'all. Strong start. All right.
Oh my god.
No worries. Discord's actually filtering it out, which is awesome. So, as you all proceed with your ascent, you are now getting high up above the ground, right? At this point, you're high above where the town of Norstead used to be even. And looking down, you see the sea is far beneath you. Violent winds begin to assail all of you as you climb. And you're going to need to either predict the next gust or simply resist it. This is going to be an insight or a strength save.
Is the wind coming from the same direction every time?
Yeah, I would say so. But it's sudden and it's very strong.
Okay. I am proficient in insight, so I could do that if no one wants to handle the what was it, strength save?
Strength save. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then we can help, right?
Wait, no one doing strength save?
No. She means the party.
Okay.
Oh!
No.
It happened again!
Wait, that's a bad idea.
Yes, I think Maeve doing the insight thing is good.
Okay.
That's funny.
All right. So, Maeve, these blasts of wind are fairly inconsistent, but you might be able to make a measure of them enough to get by. Fergus and no one, how would you like to help?
Fergus is gonna come right up next to her and try and help block the wind from which direction is it coming from? East or west?
West.
Say it's coming from the west.
Okay, so he's gonna get up on her west side. And just thinking about, he wishes he could block all this wind. He wishes that the wind would stop, that it would just be easy, that they could just be done. A bit of wind starts to stir up around Fergus himself. And without really realizing it, he casts gusts of wind against the bursts of wind that are hitting us. So hopefully 2 forces of wind hit each other and cancel each other out, so we don't get as strong of gusts happening for us.
Nice.
Okay. Alright, so since you're using a spell, we'll let this one by. Is that gust or is that gust of wind?
It's gust of wind.
Oh, okay, yes.
And it's concentration, so it's gonna stay for as long as I can.
Perfect. So yes, that'll use a spell slot. The Maeve, or just consumes it if it's a class ability or a race ability.
Yeah.
The Maeve, you have your advantage. No one.
Well, I was thinking about doing that too. I was gonna try and hit it with a psionic blast.
You could still use something.
Okay, yeah, but I am also going to attack the wind as it's coming in. I'm going to try and blast it with my mind and hold the wind back.
So you're gonna sort of telepathically like create a path for Maeve. Okay, so Maeve, both of your allies are basically providing cover for you, which honestly gives you a window, making it far more predictable. So you have advantage and a +2.
Okay. So, insight. Yep.
And keep in mind these, or you guys don't know this, I guess, rather, but these final stretch is a little more treacherous.
Oh dear.
All right. All right. Insight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oof. Okay.
Yes, Maeve.
Well done. All right. So you guys are at tier 6 of 7. There's these last 2, and you're done with your climb. So as you're getting this high up above the ground, you are now insanely high up in the air. And the wind is loud and flowing in your ears. For this next check, you're either going to have to hunker down and climb, or rally your mind against fear. This is going to be an athletics or a charisma save.
Okay.
I am
guess
good
no
at
one will
neither.
Yeah, no one's good at charisma. So I will strengthen all of our minds for the final stretch.
Okay, y'all want to do that?
What was that? I'm sorry. These girls are fighting right next to me. Go. What was it?
No one is very good with charisma checks. So
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
I'm gonna bolster all of us.
Yeah. Can do that.
To help, Fergus will continue to try and quiet the wind that is immediately around us with gust of wind to just create a sort of calm in addition to what no one is doing.
You can do that for flavor, but since that's what you did last turn, you won't be able to repeat that exact thing.
You're right. Okay. So for flavor, I do that.
Okay.
But let me think about this. He will kind of get close in, and just like try and wrap one arm around a party member to help and use his strength to help hunker down athletics.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
So
it. Okay, not quite. And no one.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
What just
Okay.
happened?
All right. So, everybody make me a survival check.
this music is stressful.
Yeah.
All right. So, Maeve, you spot a safe ledge where the group of you are able to rest and recover. You are going to be able to take refuge above the 4th tier moving forward. However, the 3 of you are going to drop a tier below. And now you are back to the winds yet again. This is an insight or a strength save.
This sounds like the blue demon music from Avatar. Sorry.
It's similar drum style.
I love it.
Taiko drums.
Okay.
I can do insight again, if needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
think of a way to help that we haven't really utilized yet. What is this obstacle again?
The winds.
Gusts of wind.
Gusts of wind. Okay.
So she is trying to predict when they occur to safely pass through.
I will try to just stay steady and still and look out and listen for those gusts like that are on their way and try and warn her ahead of time before it hits.
Okay.
Using perception.
Okay, go ahead.
Perception. T.
Okay, Maeve, you have advantage on your insight check.
Alright.
No one, did you already attempt something?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I want to try and like bolster Maeve mentally and like prep her for what she's about to have to do.
Okay, okay. Is that going to be like a persuasion check or a
Yeah,
performance check?
persuasion.
Persuasion? Okay.
Nice.
Ooh, very nice. Okay, so Maeve, you have advantage and you have a +2 on your next check.
Inside. Okay. There we go.
Okay, success. All right, so once again, you are back up to the climb. This is the hard push across frightening surfaces. This is going to be an athletics or a charisma save.
Okay, and I'm not able to do the charisma save again. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct, because you have already attempted it. So it's going to have to be an athletics.
But he failed it last time.
That's right. Let me see. Let me think about this. When Maeve did it the first time, I was kind of just thinking once you had tried one option, it's just locked after that.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
pass or fail.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Well,
Good luck, someone else.
I can certainly try to muscle my way up this.
Okay.
Okay. What is... Oh, it's to not to be afraid or to keep trucking on?
Yeah, not to be afraid, essentially.
Okay.
Across like some frightening looking treacherous grounds.
Okay. Okay. Oh wait. Let me see. Okay. Wait. I guess I can try to kind of. I think I'm gonna try to recall a story to Fergus about when we were kids and we were trying to like crawl across this rope in a harbor or something, and we were both really scared, and that we were scared, but we made it, and when we made it and looked back, it actually wasn't that bad. So I'm gonna recall this story to him in the hopes that he's gonna find that strength again and just keep going, or kind of realize that, oh, maybe this isn't as bad as we think it is.
Okay.
And I don't know if that would be just like a general charisma or persuasion or what would
Yeah, go
you
ahead
put that at?
and roll persuasion on that. And go ahead and do so at advantage for utilizing your background.
Very nice. Awesome.
Persuasion.
Okay. So Fergus, you have advantage and you have a +2 to your athletics check.
All right. Here we go.
Wait, have I given a +2? Oh, never mind.
I
Okay, we're good.
thought you gave him, you like inspired him? Am I mixing this up?
Oh.
Have you not gone yet, no one?
I thought I had.
I thought you had too.
Okay, all right, we're good. We're good.
I thought you went and then Maeve went, but I could be wrong about that.
That might be right. Okay.
I think you did. Okay. So, yes, with that, you guys are on the final tier. You are very near the top. And this is going to be something nobody is really great at. Looking
really
up
great at.
above, we are looking to find and use the only safe path. This is going to be a nature or survival check. And keep in mind you've got your inspiration if you need it. Who wants to take a crack at this?
I'm not super great at either, but I do have small bonuses in both. Very, very small. Is anybody pretty good at either?
No, I also have small bonuses in nature. You might be able to help me more though. So if your
Okay,
bonus is small, then maybe I will use nature to try and find the right way through.
I can help.
Okay.
Okay, so no one's gonna take on the challenge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Maeve and Fergus, feel free to pull out all the stops to help no one push through this.
Yeah, I'm looking at everything I got.
This is the last one.
Can we see the top, like where we're trying to get to?
Yep, you can see like the bow of the ship, just sort of like poking over the edge.
I can see the bow of the ship.
If I'm thinking of the right part of the ship, I'm thinking of like the point of the ship, like sticking over the edge.
I think that I would like to use my harpoon gun to attack the ship and then give the rope to no one as a way to help pull himself up.
Okay. Make me an attack roll.
Harpoon attack. 14 to hit the ship.
Okay, alright, that's a success.
Okay.
So
and
Maeve,
he's gonna...
or no one rather, you have advantage.
And I would like to use investigation to let no one know, like, this plank looks faulty. Don't grab onto this one. Chances are it could break. These rocks are moving with every gust of wind. Don't put your foot on this. They will probably crumble too.
Awesome.
Fergus leans into Maeve and goes, I think they're called tentacles, not foots.
No one asked you.
What?
No one didn't ask.
Oh my god.
God damn it. Oh, okay.
Okay, Maeve, this is also a great opportunity to use your bardic inspiration if you want to try that too. I believe you've given one to Fergus.
I did. Yeah, I'll go ahead and use my other one. Okay. Remind me what that was again? A 1d6?
It's just a 1d6.
Okay.
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 You don't necessarily
Every little
roll it
bit helps.
now. No one just sort of
Oh.
hangs on to it, and the other players can choose to use the inspiration when they need it.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, so it just sort of helps them out. So, okay, so no one. You have advantage on this nature check. And you do have inspiration if you choose to use it.
Yeah, I will probably use it.
Okay,
Oh my god.
so you've got a 9.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then, yeah, the Bardic Inspiration I do not think gets me there.
You could try rolling it, but you would have to roll.
Like a 5. Do I get +1 on it? 1d6 +1?
No, nope. It's just a flat d6.
Just a flat d6. Okay,
So you
well,
can save it if you want to save it.
now we're using it.
So this is
We're
going
gonna
to
get us there.
bump you guys down to an athletics or a charisma save.
Can I try something
Sure.
before we get knocked down as I see that no one is about to fail?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to take, this is getting real creative, so you just let me know if we
Sure,
can do
sure,
this.
sure, sure.
I would like, as no one is about to leave my range, I want to take an attack of opportunity on him, hopefully hit, and enact my sentinel feat so that he cannot move away from me.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, go ahead and roll an attack. This is going to
Punch,
be
punch.
a melee attack.
Oh god. I'm, okay, here you go. Does a 15 hit?
Oh yeah, that hits me.
Okay, and I'm so
Ooh.
sorry for the damage I'm dealing you as I'm like reaching out to grab you, I guess.
So, Fergus, feel free to flavor this as you like. You're essentially repaying the favor from earlier.
Sure. He is going to I guess he's gonna, like, as no one is falling, he just reaches out really quickly, grabs his arm, and yanks upward, probably dislocating the shoulder, doing that much damage. But he keeps you from falling.
Okay, should I re-roll nature?
No. So, what's gonna happen now is you guys are gonna have to try a survival check. And it's gotta be Fergus or Maeve. But I'll say, given the clever use of that feat, that you guys are padded against this. That was good on the spot thinking. Padded against the penalty.
I have a small bonus to survival. Maeve, how you looking?
What is the total column in the skills sheet? Is that the plus to the rolls?
The total column
Is that correct?
in the skill sheet.
And on my character page under skills,
Yes.
it has-
You mean the
I think that's your total bonus.
the total. Okay, because. All right, so it goes skill, proficient, bonus, total, pass. Total is what I would add to a roll.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, then. Then I have a. What was yours, Fergus? How are you looking for that?
small bonus?
Alright. Yeah, yeah, I could try survival. I could do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
So is Maeve, so Maeve or Fergus? I guess Maeve's gonna take a crack at it. At the
Mhm.
survival check. Alright, so
Let's
how do y'all
see.
want to help Maeve? Now keep in mind too, so keep in mind too, Fergus has the bardic inspiration, but Maeve might be better at survival.
Fergus used his bardic inspiration already.
Oh, you did. Interesting. Okay.
I used it right away. Okay, so survival. That is finding the best path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No one is going to again use Phantasmal Force on Maeve this time, and just at the end of the path is like a warm fire, a comfortable bed, like just
Okay.
Pint.
yeah, a pint.
Maybe a pint.
Alright, so since you're using a spell slot, that is an automatic advantage.
Okay, and I think Fergus will once again just kind of move under Maeve and give her something sturdy, a good sturdy starting point in this last stretch. Use his athletics to try and help her.
Okay, something I want you to keep in mind, Fergus, is if you use athletics this round and fail, you won't be able to use athletics for your check at the tier below.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
The trial below is athletics or charisma save.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll it.
So then.
Oh, unless you want to
No,
switch
no,
it
I'm
up,
gonna
that's totally okay.
choose something else. Yeah. Instead. It's rough. I use my harpoon. Okay. He's gonna. I'm just trying to find a new way to assist. He's gonna look at the different paths that she can take, and start to point out pros and cons. This one rocket looks really slippery. Avoid it. This path might look easier, but it also looks steeper. Maybe we should avoid that. Just using his natural like stealth skills to try and advise based on how he would stealth up such a treacherous climb.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Here's how I would carefully proceed.
Yeah. 16.
That is definitely a success. Okay, so Meg, you have advantage, and you have a +2 to your survival roll.
Okay, advantage plus.
Oh,
Woohoo!
and with that, Maeve, you climb up towards that campfire with that delicious illusory food, and you receive Fergus's assistance, and all three of you are going to arrive exhausted at the top. Whoop. Sorry about that, y'all.
Oh.
That is not on fire.
I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Okay.
my apologies. That is very much not on fire.
Oh yeah, there's some people who probably shouldn't be
Was-
there either.
Bruce Fantana.
Bruce Fantana.
Oh,
Where do y'all
God.
see
What are you
Bruce?
doing
Oh,
here,
there
bro?
y'all see-
What the heck?
Whoops, sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry, I clearly haven't cleaned this up from the last campaign, right? Okay. So, let's see. Fergus, Maeve, and no one. Okay, so all three of you arrive at the very top. What the fuck? Who's this down here? Oh. Okay. Give me 1 second.
That was a tough climb, y'all. Holy cow.
And speaking of Fergus, you are able to affix your ropes so that you guys never have to repeat that climb again. You can just traverse up and down.
Good.
Yeah, actually, give me just 1 quick second. I'll put y'all back there for just a moment.
You were the scared one to cross that rope in the bay, not me. I was the one that had to lead you through it, but I appreciate the sentiment altogether anyways, earlier.
Yeah, you got it. You got it, though. That's all that matters.
Sorry, y'all. Won't be long at all. Almost done.
I think when I add my spells in here and when I start using magic, I think I'm going to... It's not going to be that... I guess that she doesn't know she has these powers yet, and that the spells just kind of come out when she needs them, I guess. And so I think the bardic inspiration, she thought she was just giving words of encouragement, but didn't know that there was actual magic laced in there.
An actual effect that took place.
Yeah, not a real effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I
I
like that.
love that.
And I do like that with Fergus. She just knows that words of encouragement aren't as effective as, like, you can't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's his version of bardic inspiration. Absolutely.
Okay. So, the three of you take your rest. You are the first ones to be at the top of this peak in 50 years. Oh, that's right. Let me move you to this map. Oh, we're going to make fire sounds. Yep. Let me get this up. Here we go.
What does it feel like up here?
What does it feel like up here? So, up here, there are hard winds blowing. You guys are far, far above the ground. And I mean, looking down, you can see the mountain off in the distance, but you guys are essentially at like where the top of the mountain would be. And looking over the edge, you get a strong sense of vertigo. It is a long, long, long way down. Now, looking at the side of the ship, you can very clearly make out that carved into the wood are very intentional shapes and runes.
Um, can we read them?
You cannot. However, you can make me an insight check to try and deduce something from them. Okay. So,
Hello.
so no one. It occurs to you that this writing is similar to the merfolk inscriptions you had seen back in the town.
Did we give away the necklace that lets us understand merfolk?
Maeve has that.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Y'all don't have
Okay.
anything that lets you understand writing.
Ah. Okay. I will make a note of it, though, so that when we leave here, I can go back down and recreate it.
Yeah, someone has come to the outside of this ship and sort of carved inscriptions into it. Very, very intentionally.
Can I make an investigation check on the ground to see if there are any kind of tracks?
Sure. Maeve, it's been a long time since anybody has been up here. While there aren't necessarily tracks here based on some of these inscriptions, you can tell about how tall the one inscribing them would be. And they seem shorter than Fergus, but not by a lot.
My height, maybe?
Not as short as you. You're actually quite short.
Wow, okay.
But yeah, relatively tall by a person's standards, but not quite as tall as Fergus.
Can
Okay.
Fergus... can Fergus inspect the carving on the side of the ship? Look at it really closely and see, like, has this been eroded over time with the salty air? Is there moss growing in it? Was this done recently? Is it still, like, wet and the bark is freshly splintered?
Great question. Fergus, no. It is perfectly preserved. Even the wood in the side of the inscription seems to have been unaffected by age. The
Does the
rest
rest
of
of
the
the
wood
ship?
around it looks quite aged.
Okay.
And it's not like petrified or anything.
Nope. It just looks fresh.
Okay.
Make me an insight check, Fergus.
Sure. 15.
You have seen similar preservation techniques elsewhere.
I have seen similar...
In the preservation of certain corals in the Merfolk City.
Ah. Well, that was caused by singing?
You could deduce as such, yeah. Given that it seemed to be common practice in that city.
Fergus will point this out to the group. All right. Shall we board?
Let's go.
Let's.
Okay.
Get on the ship.
So the group of you board the ship. Now, looking about the ship, time and age have sort of rotted away much of the stuff on the exterior. The sun has worn down on various crates and barrels, and forceful winds have long since blown away all but tatters of ropes and various sailcloths. Looking down at this end of the ship, you're able to sort of just see the front end of it, which appears to be actually sticking over the edge down here. Looking back this way, there does appear to be a small cabin area at the back end of it. And you're also able to see some stairs leading down below.
Do we see any signs of Old Man Marcus's crew? Like any remains or any anything from them?
You do not. The exterior appears quite barren.
Okay. This music is very foreboding.
Do we hear
Fergus?
anything like moving on the ship?
You do not. The only thing you hear is the blowing of the winds at this height and the soft flapping of tattered cloth.
No animals like seagulls?
Nope. There's not a single sign of life up here.
Fergus will take like 2 steps below deck, not far, peek his head in and just smell the air. What does he smell?
So Fergus, it smells musty below, but poking your head in, you'd be able to sort of see this room in which a thick mold has sort of grown across the floor, and what appears to be a door which is currently ajar across the room.
Well, it looks like there's some things down here to take a peek at.
All right. No one will follow after Fergus.
Follow no one?
Okay.
Can I make a quick check behind, like before we go under, can I make a quick check over my shoulder to see if there's anything? If I catch a glimpse of anything moving?
Sure.
That'd be investigation, right?
It'd be perception,
Perception.
just to look over your shoulder.
God damn it. Okay.
Maeve, there is no sign of anything moving up here. Everything
Okay.
appears to be quite undisturbed.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So, all of you are heading within the ship?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you head into the ship, you join Fergus down here. Why can I not move you guys? Why can I not move Fergus? Because I put him in the wrong layer. That's why. There you go. Okay.
Hey.
Can you see your name, Fergus?
I can't.
Okay, good. Okay. So, beyond this door, sort of in the bowels of the ship, you can see what remains of this old, worn, withered vessel. And this thick mold sort of stretches across, covering the floor, covering the walls. And what's peculiar about this mold is it's sort of viney and sinewy. Sort of like thick layers of vines resting upon each other.
But it's mold?
It has sort of a damp, moldy, mildewy smell to it.
Can I cut a chunk of it off and stick it in my bag for later?
Sure. So feel free to add ship mold to your inventory.
Okay. Can I also, like, inspect this mold? Does it look natural? Does it look slimy, old, new?
It does look quite slimy. It doesn't look like anything you are familiar with.
Okay.
Are you looking for anything in particular? Like, it's just like, are you familiar with this kind of mold? Or are you looking for something?
I guess I was looking for anything that looked unnatural. About it.
No, as far as you can tell. Having cut into it, right, you can kind of see the piping within each of these, like, sinewy kind of vines, and you can see how, liquid would have just sort of flowed through this like any other plant.
Okay.
Oh, can I do a check to see if it might be poisonous? I do have a, I believe I'm
Sure.
knowledgeable with poisons.
Yeah,
I have
go
a
ahead.
poisonous. What would that be? Would that be nature? Or
It'd
I
be a
don't, I don't,
poisoner's kit check.
I don't believe I have a button for that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it'd be
no.
d20 plus, go ahead and roll dex plus your proficiency, which is 2. So d20 plus 2 plus dex.
D20 plus 2 plus dex. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
D20 plus 2 dex. Was it /R D20? What is the thing again?
It's /R d20 plus like 5 if that's your dex, plus 2. Or just plus 7. Or you could do 1d20, that would also work.
D20 plus 2 plus. Did that work?
So it kind of look like that, but without the period in front.
Okay, yeah, I got a 12.
Okay. And remind me, you're looking to see if it's poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say at a glance, it doesn't look healthy to ingest. If you want to spend some time studying this, you can certainly add this to your components.
Okay.
So within this room, there is only silence and the blowing of the wind above outside.
Is there any more carvings in the inside of the ship in languages?
At least not here that you can see, sort of looking through this door where you guys are all standing up here.
All right. I'm gonna walk through the door and see if I see any other writing on the walls.
Okay, go ahead and make me an investigation check as you look around.
13.
Okay. So Fergus, as you all sort of explore this room, and Noah and Maeve, I assume at some point you're gonna kind of enter as well.
Yeah, as soon as I see that Fergus doesn't immediately die for entering the room.
Yeah, Fergus does not just immediately die upon entry. However, Fergus, you are going to find that wherever the light in this room touches, that mold does not seem to grow there. Which includes staircases, as well as the grating from above. Now, in the far corner of the room, you are going to find a door, and looking down at the baseboards of the door, you can see that runes have similarly been carved into the floor.
Oh, found some more over here. Can anybody read this? I'm gonna point it out to the group.
I'm gonna take note of these runes too, so that I can remember them later.
Okay.
Are they displaying the same characteristics of not aging?
Yes, that is correct. And additionally, the mold does not approach their border.
Even though they're not in light?
Correct.
Are there any?
No, I cannot read.
Are there any signs, or are we able to? Is there any indication as to where the mold started, like where it is stemming from?
At this point, the mold appears to be just completely widespread throughout the ship.
Okay, so no.
It does
origin
seem to have
point?
intensified, like, below decks here, right? But it's so widespread, it's hard to tell where it may have originated.
Okay.
As we're looking around, now that we've looked around the ship quite a bit, we're not seeing any bodies, right?
No, you are not seeing any
Okay.
bodies.
Yeah, no one will pipe up and say, "Did Marcus not say that the crew had died on this ship?"
Well, he could only assume as much. I'm sure he saw a couple of his mates die, but he left before the rest of them could, so he only knows what happened to a handful of them.
Well, where are they?
Fergus looks around. That's a good
He
question.
He said he jumped when they all started floating and singing.
Fergus looks up. What's on the ceiling of the cabin of the ship?
Is just more mold all the way across, thick and overlaying itself.
Is this mold affecting us in any way, like our vision, our breathing, making us nauseous? Is it? Can we tell any difference?
Great questions. No, the air is certainly thick and musty. And the mold sort of squishes beneath your feet as you're walking, but no, it's not actually harming you as you're walking around.
No one's gonna take some samples of the mold.
Okay.
Just for later.
Now, the runes before you on the ground seem to bump up against the wall and proceed under this closed door here.
Which closed door?
There is a closed door
This guy right here?
right there. Yes.
Okay. Fergus turns back. Should we venture forward? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Fergus opens the door.
Okay. Alright, so Fergus. opening the door, you find within another storage room. This one's a bit smaller. You can see that at some point here, based on all of this stuff, sort of piled loosely in the corner, at some point it may have been in front of this door. Someone or something appears to have moved it aside, likely when these rooms were created on the ground.
Okay. Fergus will tell no one. There's more writing in here you might want to jot down.
All right. Yeah, no one will write down that writing. This writing doesn't look the same, right? Like, this is different writing?
No, it does look the same.
Oh.
All of this appears to have, been from the same source.
No, but I mean, like, the letters that I'm seeing are not the exact same.
Oh, no. So,
okay.
there are effects. Well, actually, I would say... Let me see. So, roll me an investigation or insight check.
Can I help him with this? Like, as he's looking, be pointing and be like, no, this one's curved this way. Just like...
Well, no, that's true,
trying to
actually.
help
No
him.
one did write it down, didn't he? I think one of y'all specifically said you made a note of this.
Yeah, I'm memorizing everything I see with my keen mind.
Oh, that's right. You have keen mind. Okay, so no one.
Brilliant.
Yes, good call. Okay, so no one. It's the same writing, but different runes. The ones that are on the floor in front of the doors are consistent with one another. The ones on the outside appear to be for a different purpose.
Alright. Have any of us touched these runes yet? No one's gonna reach out and touch the runes.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Okay. Very strange. And yeah, so to me it looks like the same person or thing wrote each of these.
Correct.
Okay.
Can I kind of clear the mold away from one spot and just see what's underneath it? Like, I guess if it's bearing something or if it has eroded the wood underneath it.
Sure. Yeah, I would say it has eroded the wood underneath it.
Is there anything different about it?
About the wood itself?
Yeah, anything that would set it apart from any kind of normal erosion, I guess?
I would only say that the wood is sort of rotted and damp, but this mold sort of has almost like roots, which are kind of implanted into the wood. And that as you're sort of cutting and trying to pull the vines off, you find that it's got various strands which are actually dug into the floor.
Weird. Okay.
Fergus, across the room towards the inner chamber, the innermost chamber of the ship, which had seemingly been blocked off at some point, is across the room.
He's gonna go investigate. What's this right here?
What is that? Oh, it's just like barrels and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's fine. He will open the door.
Okay, so opening the door, Fergus, you are going to be greeted by a most unusual sight. And I'm actually zoomed in as far as I can, so let me make this a bit bigger. But in the innermost chamber of this boat, beyond all of these rings, is a creature suspended in the air above a pool of water, which seems to just have been formed and rests upon the wooden floor without damaging it. Sorry, give me just 1 second here. I'm trying to figure out how to make this damn thing appear. Do you guys see this thing here, or no? Yes, this thing.
This little
It's on the
naked
wrong layer.
chicken?
Okay, here we go. That's why I'm having problems with it. All right.
This looks like a.
This
Oh my
thing.
God.
What the fuck?
This thing is hovering in the air.
What the actual fuck? It's like some Resident Evil crap.
I think we found the bodies.
It is
God.
frozen in stasis. It is just sort of hovering in a relaxed, elongated position, suspended in midair above this water. As you enter the room, it makes no motion, no sound, and seemingly takes no notice of you.
How big is it in comparison to us?
It is quite large. I would say, it's probably like 10 feet across, maybe.
Okay. Is it breathing?
It is just sort of hovering gently in the air. It is slowly sort of turning, but appears to be in a state of stasis, where it takes no notice of you. It is undisturbed, and it is just sort of preserved, sort of unnaturally hovering above this water.
What, is it making any sound?
It is not.
Does it smell?
The room has this. Well, let me think about this. I guess this room probably would smell pretty bad. Yeah, it does smell pretty bad. Go ahead.
I want
put that back on the
to
screen there.
detect thoughts.
Okay. Probing its mind, no one. You do not detect anything. It does not appear to be actively thinking.
Can I delve deeper?
Sure. What are you probing for?
I just any thought at all inside of its head. I just want it to see if it's thinking anything.
So here's what you would find digging into this thing. It is functionally like kind of brain dead. The body will respond, but it is not thinking any particular thought. It is purely a pile of responsive living flesh with really no mind attached.
I'll communicate that to Maeve and Fergus.
These bodies that make up this creature's form, do they have any Any like markings or tattoos or anything that could tell us maybe who these people were?
Great question. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Okay.
Maeve. A marking catches your attention. Stitched into the flesh, or rather represented on the flesh at an unusual angle, is a certain date, seemingly commemorating some event that was important to someone. Looking closer, there are signs of tattoos and various other pieces of flesh that were sort of amalgamated into the creature which is before you now.
What's the date and what do the markings look like?
There are pictures of anchors. There is a date. There are pictures of women. Various sailor tattoos.
Can we decipher the date?
Yeah, sure. The date was maybe 60 years ago, 65 years ago.
So, would that mean these bodies are possibly not Old Man Marcus's crew?
No, you can
I think
confidently
you said okay.
determine this is Old Man Marcus's crew.
Okay.
The massive hunk of amalgamated flesh hovers off the ground before you. This is actually a great stopping point if y'all want to pick up next time from here.
Yeah, let's
This
do that.
is very morbid.
Yeah.
It's very intriguing.
Good. Okay, very curious to know how you guys are going to proceed from here. But I will go ahead and stop the recording here.